The YouTube has something, a little message up there for you.
Of course, I'll never get to read those little words, but.
But you look good, though. You need some help? Okay.
I think they were giving me a message. Something about new moderators. I don't know. I can't read those. I need glasses. I really need glasses.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I hope I pressed the right buttons on TikTok. We'll see.
I think so, because they look identical.
You think? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
So if you saw our quick little lives before this live, you know what we're talking about tonight. We are talking about, would you stay in a relationship for security? Whatever that looks like, whatever kind of security. Would you stay in a relationship for security? I think for a temporary amount of time, I would say yes. Depending on, what circumstance might be happening. You might be in a situation where you are not employed. You're in between jobs, and your relationship that you're in may not be the best of the best.
Speak up. You started to go down.
But it's serving a purpose.
Right.
And you don't have to be dishonest about it. You could just be like, I'm not ready to make a move. You know what I mean? Just because of this. But,
Till I get back on my feet, I'm going to be using your health insurance.
Or your bathroom. Your shower.
But when people stay in relationships because they're unemployed or whatever, I don't know if it's advisable to say, or even insinuate, I'm just staying because I need your health insurance or because I need
Thank you.
I need your money. I don't know if it's
I need your help.
Because sometimes people get resentment is probably already there at that point, but they get real cantankerous, and it can lead to a domestic.
It could, right? I mean, depending on if that's the relationship that you're in. But most of the relationships that I have don't end on a note like that. They usually end that we can be friends and it's amicable, and at a certain point in time, you're helping your friend out.
Oh,
not necessarily.
I'm painting a picture in my mind, like, you're in a situation, whether it's a married or living together with someone, and you're saying, I really don't want to be here, but I'm not working, so I need you to.
I mean, that might be what you're saying, but you're not keeping it a secret, and that person isn't like about to, wring your neck because.
Or making plans to go to Cancun, and you like, man, I'm trying to bounce.
Yeah, I mean the circumstance. I mean, all of them could exist, in different periods of time. So
I wouldn't say be deceitful about it. I would tread carefully on that, but I don't know. I think most people have stayed probably too long in relationships and for different reasons, but for security, I think I have, and my ex-husband probably did the same thing with me. Security looks like different things. Like you said, whatever it means to you.
Right.
I need you to still care for me in the way that you've been caring for me. I'm not going to be able to make it without that, because this is something I am accustomed to. And like who said that? Being on insurance or something like that? Yeah, and I think that's a good point too, because, that's important. And even now I know of a situation where the woman, my girlfriend, wants out of the marriage, but she's now retired, and she just feels like her husband makes so much money. He's still working, and she just feels like, well, I'm just going to stay in it. I'm not going to, my golden years are going to be comfortable. I don't really want to be married to him, but if I have to have sex with him a couple of times a week just to have this lifestyle, then that's what I'm going to do, because she's comfortable.
Then she's not unhappy.
She is unhappy, but her financial comfort outweighs everything else for her.
So that's what makes her happy. That's her level of
That's
happiness.
what makes her.
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes her stay. Yeah, happy is
Because money means happiness. There's something that keeps her there. And so I always feel like, if you're doing something and you aren't preventing something, then you really aren't opposed to doing that something.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say, you keep saying the word happy. I don't know if happy would describe her situation. It is comfortable.
Well, maybe comfortability makes her happy. Maybe not being secure with finances
that is not the word that I would
makes her unhappy. The thought of it, is like, no, that doesn't bring me any joy.
Yeah.
No.
In my world, happiness is something that you give to yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's not something that's contingent upon anything.
She is giving it to herself. She's staying.
But I'm saying that there's nothing outside of you that affects your happiness. It's something that you give to yourself. And I mean, in small increments, you should give it to yourself every day. And this is an inside job, is my point.
Yeah.
And if you give happiness if you give happiness to yourself, then nobody should be able to take it away from you.
I do. I believe that to a degree. Do I believe that things that happen externally could affect your happiness? I 100% do. You are a human being.
And there are some people who are so toxic and who are so...
Yeah.
They can grind your gears so much that it can affect your happiness.
Right. Because they're affecting your peace.
Correct.
And peace for me is my happiness. So, I mean, what you view happiness could be one thing. What I view it could be another thing. But at the end of the day, yes, if you're an unhappy person, another person is not going to just come into your life and make you happy. So that part I agree with. It is an inside job as it relates to that. Do people add to your happiness? Do they add joy? Do they add value that make you happier? Quite frankly, I think they do. And if they don't, then that's when they start to become like, dead weight, and you probably would be better off making a move. But then that takes us back to this question. Would you stay for security even if you were in a place of being unhappy? Some people stay in very toxic relationships because they feel like, I got these kids. You know what I mean? I can't take care of them by myself. I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
And even if you think about it, back years ago, many women stayed in relationships that weren't
100%
weren't healthy. They were, quite frankly, some of them very dangerous. And, they had other families across the
they stayed for security.
The street, but they just hung in there, because this was their place.
And women didn't work many times. So and
they got these kids.
And correct. and men made substantially more than women. So a lot of women stayed, like you said, for the children and for security.
Certainly a bygone era, and I mean, I'm going to answer the question. I'm not staying a minute in anything that, if I'm a man, I can get stuff. I can make my stuff happen. I can figure it out. I can do some, maybe I don't have insurance for 3 months or 6 months. I'm willing to take all of those chances because I'm not willing to risk my happiness. Or my feeling good about myself and what I'm doing for 1 minute.
I get that. But you are a single man with no children.
And that's what I appreciate about the three of us, our different backgrounds.
So you can make a move like that. You can say, hey, it's about me, and I'm not willing to do this. Yeah. But if you had a child, and let's say a special needs child, one of the three, it might make you move differently. It might make you pause a little bit and say, I got to stay put for a little bit. You don't know because you haven't been in that situation. But
I would like to believe that, especially in the case of if I had a special needs child, I'm taking care of my children, and I'm not, going to be somebody that's not, doing the things that I'm supposed to do. Just because I can't be with your mama don't mean that I can't be with you.
I get that, but I'm gonna take it even a little bit further. We're in a very precarious position, right? We're getting old. Let's say Social Security is no more. Let's say a whole bunch of things change in the space that we know today.
I would go back to the block and be out here flipping again before I would do.
I'm just saying. There could be factors, external factors that may make you, I'm not saying it would, but just be open to the fact that it might look different.
I don't know.
It could
So
look
the
different.
beauty of this threesome is though that even though we think very similarly on the fact of the matter is we have different backgrounds as far as, divorced, mommy divorced, mommy not married, and never been married, no children. So you're not going to be able to make him think like a parent because he's never been a parent. You're not going to make him think like we would because he's never been a woman or a mother who, yeah, it's. I mean, you can speak from your perspective, but I think you're bumping your head up against the wall, trying to make him be open to thinking like
But,
you
and I don't know that the
or a
purpose of
parent.
I don't know that the purpose of our conversations is necessarily to convert anyone.
No,
it's,
well,
it's definitely
it
to
was-
share.
She was sounding very persuasive, and it's
I just
like,
wanted
She's
him to
always persuasive.
look at it from
like you're
different
not gonna
angles.
make him
It's not to
I
make
think
him.
she's downright compelling at times.
And I do say if and perhaps, and I use the words because I'm not trying to make you think like me, but there could be an instance that there's another side to this that you can look at it from a different view.
Certainly, there are no absolutes.
Yeah.
But I'm confident. I love when people use that word because that's like I know. I'm confident.
It's almost saying absolutely,
Right.
even though there are no absolutes, but absolutely I would it right.
I mean, I love that. I'm confident. So, but no, I'm confident that I don't want to be in a situation where I'm not giving someone my all, or they're not, giving me their all, and I don't want to waste a minute because I don't have a minute to waste. So, I'm gonna have that conversation. We're gonna say, hey, this is what it is. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying to do.
When you say I'm not going to waste a minute, I'm not going to stay in something that someone's not this and I'm not that. Relationships for me, they're going to be hills and valleys. They're going to be ups and downs. So when you say I'm not going to give a minute, to me that sounds like the minute you aren't doing what you're supposed to be, I don't feel like you're giving me 100%. I'm out of here because my happiness is on the line and I've lived these years and I only have these many years left.
Planning the flow.
But I'm just saying that it just sounds very concrete and absolute and no give and
no
take.
shades of gray.
Right.
I'm glad you delineated it a little bit because I'm not going. I wouldn't want somebody to leave me the first time I left the
Right.
toilet seat up. I'm gonna do that. I do that from time to time, and it's not personal. And I don't want to get left because of that. And I'm not gonna leave someone the first time that they don't do whatever it is that I need them to do. It's gonna have after a series of conversations, and I don't want it to sound like a PNP or anything, or I'm putting you on a pip, but.
I
But
haven't heard that in a long time. Go
But
ahead.
but at some point, if we're not making progress towards where we're trying to go, or one of us is not capable of doing those things, it's time to do something different. And at the point in which I realize that there's no security in the world that's keeping me.
A lot of people don't realize that they aren't capable of doing those things. That's what keeps them into a relationship because everybody says, I'm going to try. I'm going to do better.
But-
and in their mind, they really do think that they are going to try and do better
But
until they don't.
and I want to reiterate your earlier point that this isn't just some reactionary thing. It's after some period of time or some period of observation. And in my mind, I'm not at a point where this is going to get better or different. It's time to bounce.
What do you think?
I mean, I would hope that you wouldn't, at the first sign of trouble, be like, you know what, I'm not happy today. I'm out. But I would hope. So I haven't spoken to too many of your past relationship people, so I don't know if that was ever a problem. But I'm a hang in there type of person. So I'm gonna stay. And I'm going to stay and I'm going to try to work it out because, like you said, it's peaks and troughs. So just because it's not been a good month or a good quarter for us in our relationship doesn't mean it's not, the tables won't turn. So I 100% agree on that. But this one here.
He's like, yeah, you
I
got
mean-
about 5 minutes to get your shit together.
Don't worry, I'm not sure.
I mean, it comes out like that, and I hope that that's not what people's take away from this. But at the same time, life at this point in my life is just too short to be wasting it. And if it's not going to get better, I mean, security is nice. I love security. I love knowing who my New Year's Eve date is going to be. I love knowing that, man, we building, we're doing this, we're doing that. I love knowing that I have insurance. But none of those things are going to keep me if I don't see this progressing. It's not worth it to me.
I guess I'm gonna be real honest. I believe, like, when I look at my relationships, there are a couple of things that I say to myself. If things aren't going right, I say to myself, has this person earned the benefit of the doubt? And if I've been in a relationship with you for a good amount of time, then you have, obviously. And then I look at the things that when I wasn't my best or when I was low, how they lifted me up and truly had me. And then that makes me look really, really deep and find a level of grace that I probably wouldn't have initially because my feelings are hurt or bruised or I feel slighted. But I find the grace, and then that makes me probably work harder, just be more compassionate, more understanding, and much like my cousin here, I will stay. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that what I'm doing is right. It just means it's who I am. It's just the person that loves love that I am. That makes me want to just keep fighting for love. I don't know
I mean,
how to put that any differently.
again, I'm not, bouncing at the first sign of trouble, but definitely
Second.
third, no. But at the same time, I just think that it's important that we protect our happiness and our peace more
I
than
totally
anything.
agree.
And
I
that
totally
you
agree.
are willing to make some unconventional decisions. Because, I mean, in my youth, I gave people 14th and 15th chances. I've done that. I've starred in that movie. I was in the off-Broadway version. I've done small theater. I've done all of that.
Yeah.
I've gotten every award, Battlestar, Bond Slip. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
I-
In my married life, I had a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The house, the cars. I had a lot of things. Let me talk up. I had a lot of things. And as a divorced woman, I don't have a lot of things. I don't have, the
Material.
the materials.
Right.
I don't have the stuff. I don't shop like I used to. I don't do, my spending habits have changed, like Trump would say, bigly, hugely. I was the best shopper in the world. It was a beautiful shopping life. It was
So in the Olympics, you was a medalist.
I was a medalist. But I am it's just me now. So, and I knew that was going to happen. I knew what to expect. But I chose peace. I chose that. Now, I'm not saying that, oh, my ex-husband made me miserable. I'm not saying he's a terrible person. I would never say that. But I chose this for myself.
You chose
So
you.
I chose me. I chose peace. I chose my happiness. And I think joy is greater than happiness. I think it is stronger. And I wanted joy. I wanted that. And so I think when people are married, they do go through peaks and troughs when people live together for any amount of time. And I'm not just talking about, oh, they're just getting on my nerves, because anybody that you are around, whether it could be your sibling, your parent, your coworker, anybody that you're around with any consistency is going to work your effing nerves. But when you are in a committed relationship, there's something to be said for giving someone the benefit of the doubt, for knowing, okay, and this too shall pass. But if it's too many times where you are compromising who you are for the sake of security, that's a problem. If it can't be worked out in therapy or counseling or like with a third party, that's a problem too. So you have to know when to say, is this worth it for me? Now, one of my friends I have a few friends actually who are staying in it because their husbands make money and they're, very comfortable living a certain lifestyle. And that works for them. That wasn't cutting it for me. So money is great, things are nice, but I prioritize something else. So some people have a priority of, I need the security. Okay.
So,
And let me just say this. One of my friends who has prioritized a certain lifestyle is unhealthy. She is having chronic problems. I have one who's losing her hair. And so you got to think about, what am I?
What is
I,
the
I'm, I have
what is
money.
the price of this happiness?
I always have $1,000 cash in my pocket and I can shop whenever I want and I'm driving this XYZ. But what is the price that I'm ultimately paying? So that's important. Because my ass is healthy as hell.
just a different lens on it. For me, in a relationship, I feel like I am always going to war for us. Like I got my armor on, I got my shield,
Arms out.
all of that. But I'm fighting for us. And when I start to feel that I'm in a war fighting for us, but you're in a war and you're fighting me,
Yeah.
that for me takes away all my security. Because that means I'm literally on the battlefield by myself, but you are pointing your guns and your weapons at me.
Yeah.
You know, so if I'm fighting for us and you're fighting for you, nobody's fighting for me. There's no security in that. That
And
to
people
me
need to pay attention to that.
feels very
Isolating.
and unsafe.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put that.
Yeah.
So the security doesn't. It doesn't. It just goes away. Yeah, and so will I.
And so will I.
Right.
Yeah.
So will I.
See ya.
With your arms.
Oh my goodness. But yeah.
Inside joke.
No, but it's so important now that I mean I want to definitely point out I'm a different person now than I was even 5 years ago.
For sure.
And a lot of my takes on stuff are from my current perspective. And there's not I mean I have a much greater sense of mortality now. I'm less willing to take chances. I'm less willing to be unhappy for a long time. And I mean, life is ups and downs. You have some good days, you have some bad days, and hopefully more good days than bad days. Blah, blah, blah. But I have a great urgency not to waste time in things that I don't feel can be
I
productive.
totally
That's
agree.
very important.
I totally agree with that.
And it's different today than it was even 3 years ago.
We have less years in front of us now. So I agree. I'm not wasting time. If I go out with someone and I know it's not going to work, I'm just going to tell you this is never going to work.
Or even simple things like even just spending hours. Like my time is so valuable that if I know that we aren't going to have a good time or if it's going to be something that I just really don't want to do, I'm not going to give you that time. Because
I
it's
agree.
just way too precious.
I don't even
can't
I
get
don't
it
even
back.
let women waste my time, like girlfriends.
Yes, that's what I
or
mean.
Former friends, or
Not
acquaintances.
necessarily
I'm
your
not
relationship,
spending
just
time
anybody.
with you. Not at all. I'm not doing anything with you if I think that you're wasting my time.
Right.
And I'm not just myopic. It's not all about me. I don't want to waste your time. I want you to go out and do whatever it is that you need to do.
He kills me with this, I'm doing this for you.
But it's not. But I mean, that's important to me because there were times when it was all about me.
Mm-hmm.
It was about what I wanted, what I could do, what I could get, and that's not it. I mean, sometimes I'll disconnect from something or someone because I have a greater sense of admiration, adoration, whatever for that person.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of evolution and just really the maturation process. Yeah. That's big.
Can I tell about the secrets? Is it okay to tell the secrets?
Sure, tell a few.
Secrets? Your movie phone secrets?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I can tell.
Hit it.
Don't get mad at me later.
Hit it. Go ahead.
Please join us this Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m. at Bureau Bar, 2115 South State Street. There'll be small bites, spirited conversations, and a cash bar, plus dance.
So, guys, you definitely want to come out to Conversations Overheard in person. Again, like Gary said in his movie phone voice, it is going to be Saturday, the 12th of April from 2 to 5 p.m. at the Bureau Bar. It is going to be from 2 to, did I say 2 to 5 p.m.?
You did.
Yes.
2 to 5 p.m. And yes, we will be having food until exhausted. There'll be drinks for you to purchase if that's what you want to participate in your libations. It's right there for you. And the conversations are going to be just epic. This is one that you don't want to miss. We say that every time, but
it's true.
It is so true. So
Can I give him some
Help.
information?
go for it.
Some secret information?
I don't
See,
know
y'all
about
don't
secret.
never
We
let me
just
have no
gave
fun.
you the floor and you left it out. So no.
Y'all don't never let me have no
So
fun.
join us if you're in
Man.
Chicago, Chicagoland. Come and meet with us. Come and talk to us.
We even have some people flying in for this one, so it's pretty special, guys. You don't want to miss it if you're in Chicago.
2 to 5 p.m., 2115 South State, the Bureau Bar. Join us.
That's okay. I'm gonna tell some secrets on Saturday to the people that come, so they're gonna get to hear the secrets, and it ain't gonna be nothing that y'all can do about
Well,
it.
yeah, 'cause
Nah.
it won't be recorded, so.
Nah.
Yeah.
What y'all gonna do
We
then?
don't, we don't
We
record our
do not.
in-person conversations.
For that reason alone, right there.
Yeah, because
Mm.
we like people to feel comfortable and really talking, and
Being
they are good.
truthful and
Yes.
asking questions, and yeah, we don't need
I'm leaving all my filters at
we don't
home.
need any footage.
All
So
of them.
join us this Saturday.
We'll see you then.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. Drop your comments about would you stay in relationships for security so we can continue this conversation flow.
Please subscribe to our channels. Please share this episode and definitely leave comments.
And come out and see us Saturday too.
Please. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Good night,
And we're
everybody.
signing off.
Alrighty. Now it's like find the end button.
It's always like find the end button.